Oh, my mom was cleaning her diaper, and then she just squirted something out. It was poop.
Oh my god. Is it all over everything? So I had the baby. The process of giving birth is nothing like what they prepare you for. It's unexpected. I wasn't sure if my water broke. Like it may have. Things didn't go as planned necessarily. So I'm gonna get into all that and tell you all those details. In addition to the shocking cost of having a baby in New York City. I could not believe this cost.
They charged us about...
It makes me wonder how people afford having a baby if they don't have money. Like, what the heck? It is insane. So let's get into it. I always planned on trying to do the birth the natural way. I didn't want to do an epidural. I wanted to be like, yeah, I'm like powerful and I can do this without the epidural. Even though like women in general are powerful, just being able to give birth to a child and make a child. If you don't want to hear too much information about what goes through a woman's body during this process, then definitely don't watch this video. If you're even slightly intrigued, continue watching because I'm going to share those interesting, sometimes gross details. Her due date was February 4th. On February 3rd, Louie and I were watching TV and it felt like I peed a little bit, but like it wasn't a lot. And so I was thinking, okay, maybe my water broke. So I go and see if it was pee and it wasn't. Sorry, this is TMI, but you know, this is a reality with birth, okay? So I had an appointment the next day with the doctor, and I thought, you know what, I'll just wait until then. I'm not gonna go all the way to the hospital now because I don't know if it was my water, but it definitely wasn't pee and it wasn't anything else, and it's not a lot. So since I have this appointment really soon, I'll just wait till tomorrow. So I go to the appointment. It's just for a stress test. Everything goes normal. They put like these things on your stomach to test the heart rate of the baby, I believe, and if you're having contractions. So I say to the nurse, hey, I think possibly my water may have broke, but it's not a lot. So she sent me up to the labor and delivery center, and that's where things got crazy. Okay, that's where things change drastically. So essentially what they do here is if you say, I think my water may have broken, you're having the baby that day. Like that's the plan. They look inside of you and they see that there is puddling of water inside of me. The doctor finds that it is amniotic fluid. So that means that my water did break, but it wasn't a massive break. It was a very high rupture, like up on the top. So I think Isabella, the baby, which you'll see very soon, may have kicked the top or something and it was just trickling slowly down. So next thing, this is where everything goes into full motion. We are doing this. The baby is coming. Let's go. They checked to see if my water was breaking because your water can like break or it can just leak. And it turns out it's leaking. So here I am and we're gonna do this thing. They just gave me this amazing room here. This is at New York Presbyterian at the new Alexandria Cohen Hospital for Newborns. They just opened in August and it's so beautiful. Like the room is so spacious and there's a gorgeous view of the city. They also have a gourmet bistro in here. I just had some soup from there because you're not allowed to have like solid foods and it was really good, and they have valet parking as well, so it's very fancy. From what I've heard from other moms, that is not like the normal scenario. So later on, a few weeks later, when I got the hospital bill, I was like, yep, this is why it's this high. This is possibly why it's this high, or is this the healthcare system in the United States? I don't really know. I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you the number shortly of how much that really costs. They put me in the hospital bed, they hook you up to all these wires, and of course, because I'm like a crazy person, I still have to upload a YouTube video that day, so I'm literally sitting in the hospital uploading my Staten Island guide to New York City. So like a typical entrepreneur, I'm working as you can see here with this laptop in front of me. So if you haven't seen that, please watch it, because I literally did that while I was in labor. Yes. My contractions hadn't started yet, so they decided the best strategy there would be to put me on something called Pitocin, because the amniotic fluid had already broken, and so it's dangerous for the baby to be inside of you if your water has broken, aka your amniotic fluid, for too long. So they had to induce me. That's what inducing is. It's when they put you on Pitocin. I learned all of this in the moment pretty much, because I never had a baby. I'm like new to this whole thing, so I don't really know what to expect. The one thing I want to know is all pregnancies are completely different and all births are different. So this was my experience, which was interesting. Very interesting. So they put me on the Pitocin, and in my labor class that I took with Louis, they teach you that the normal span of contractions are, the first level of contractions are really, really low. You don't really have a lot of pain compared to what happens later on, and this lasts about 5 to 8 hours, sometimes longer, and then you get more intense contractions for maybe like 2 to 4 hours, and then you have extreme contractions, and that's when the actual birth happens, and that's normally the most painful part. I'm at the hospital now, it's like 4, and they put me on the Pitocin, and I'm thinking, okay, I have plenty of time to finish some emails at work, hang out, and Louis, since we just found out we're gonna have this baby today, decides, let me go back to the apartment and get some things. I'll be right back in like an hour or 2. And so since I thought the contractions were gonna be very mild for probably 6 to 8 hours, I was like, yeah, no problem. So he leaves, and big mistake, huge. Like immediately after he leaves, the Pitocin kicks in so hard. I was questioning if I was going to be able to do this without the epidural. Like, I am like hunched over. I am not an easy crier. I am crying. I feel like I'm going to throw up every single time a contraction happens. I call Louis and I'm like, get back here. Like, this is horrible. I hate this. Like, I'm like screaming and crying, and he's like, oh my God, what is going on? I just left a few moments ago and everything was fine. And at this point, I am like holding the call button. Just every time these contractions happen, I am like, okay, I'm not gonna do this epidural. I'm not gonna do this epidural. I'm not gonna do it. And then all of a sudden I start seeing, like, have you ever fainted? You know when you get the tunnel vision and you see the blackness coming? And I realize I'm going to pass out. And if I don't get this epidural, they're gonna have to give me a C-section, because I'm literally gonna pass out from the pain of these contractions without the epidural. I like pick up the freaking call thing for the nurse and I'm like, I want the epidural, give me the epidural. Like, I just am like, ah! Louis literally has to like hold a bucket, and I'm like throwing up. He was so great during all of this. He never was grossed out, or at least he didn't show it. So thank you so much, Louis, for that, because couldn't have done it without his support with that one. Wow, thank you, Louis.
Hello.
This is a nice spa.
This is how it is here at the hospital for delivering babies. You have to relax the mother as much as possible. Make sure they're good.
They do the epidural. The epidural, they put a needle in your spine. At this point, my contractions were so extreme that this needle in the spine, I was like, go ahead. I don't care. Like, get these contractions away. I can't deal with it anymore. So they give me the epidural, and then I was fine. I was like hanging out. Thank you everyone for your messages. I am so overwhelmed with how nice everyone is. Everything's going well. The baby is still not arrived. I got the epidural. It was 100% necessary for me. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. So I'll keep you posted. I should have done this way earlier. For those women out there that got Pitocin and then didn't get the epidural, I applaud you. That pain is so extreme. From what I've heard is when you get Pitocin, the contractions are way more extreme than when you don't get Pitocin. I have no idea though, because I've never done it without Pitocin, but I can tell you it was the most extreme pain in my entire life. I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna give birth to this baby. That's gonna be the worst part, right? It wasn't. It wasn't the worst part, shockingly. So what was the worst part, you may be wondering? I'll tell you in a moment. So we continue throughout the night. They're checking my dilation levels, which this is also a TMI thing, but I guess I'm just not really knowledgeable on childbirth. I always thought dilation was how open like your vagina was. I probably sound like a fool saying this, but that's what I thought it was. I don't know why I thought that. It doesn't make sense. It's actually how open your cervix is. So they check to see how open your cervix is, and to do this, they pretty much jam their hand all the way up your body. And they said I was at 5 centimeters. And so at this point, their expectation was I was gonna give birth probably early in the morning, like 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. And so time goes on, the epidural's still chilling, I'm having a grand old time. So around 10:30, this is again a TMI thing, I start feeling like I really have to go like number 2 really bad. And I remember hearing from people that when you feel that, it means the baby is literally about to like come out of you. So I call the nurse and I say, hey, just want to let you know this is what I'm feeling. The nurse goes to stick her hand in and she like puts her finger in about an inch and touches the baby's head. And so now they're all like, oh my gosh, the baby's coming right now. So they're like running around, setting up the room. I start pushing at 11:30. I had her on the 5th at 12:03 a.m. and she's super healthy and happy. And look at her, she's just chilling right now. I'm pretty sore, but other than that, I'm feeling fine for the scenario, and I'm looking forward to bringing her home. So I was only pushing for 30 minutes, so I thought that was pretty good. Now you may be wondering, what was the worst part, Sarah? Was that the worst part of pushing a baby out? No, it wasn't. That was not the worst part. In fact, pushing the baby out, in my experience, was so easy compared to those Pitocin contractions. Those Pitocin contractions were the most painful experience I've ever had in my life. Way worse than pushing the baby out of me. We get put in the hospital room with our new baby, and she's so adorable, and like, Isabella, you were like really cute, and I'm not just saying that because I made you. Of course I think she's adorable, but she's very alert. Her eyes are open, she's looking around all the time. I was really surprised because she's way tanner than I expected, and I love that. Like, she looks so, like, she has a beautiful golden tan already, and I'm so jealous because I've never been able to get a tan. So I'm like, good job, Louise Jeans. Way to get going on that one. And so we stay in the hospital for 2 nights. Food there's amazing, by the way. I'm so impressed with this food menu. It's like we're at a fancy hotel. Like, I'm very confused. I always thought hospital food was terrible, but New York Presbyterian, look at this. Look at this presentation. You get all of this included in your stay. What the heck? I mean, this is nice. I got like a grilled salmon the other night. Really good. Loving it. Isabella's loving it. They gave me a bag of Chanel products. Again, that's probably why the hospital bill was so high, now looking back on this. Although I've heard from other people that the hospital bill's always high. When we got home, we got the hospital bill. And whoa. We just got our medical bill from the hospital. And how much did it cost, Louis?
We will owe around still about $9,100, so $9,100. But they charged us about, I would say $43,000.
$43,000. What the heck? That's pretty shocking, right? I posted this on my Instagram stories. I got so many messages from people all over the world saying, oh my gosh, it costs nothing to have a baby in X country, like Canada, UK, anywhere in Europe, multiple other locations. It seems like overall, having a baby in any other place is $0 or practically $0. And the fact that Louis and I have to pay $9,000 out of pocket, that's like what insurance didn't cover. It really concerns me, like with the healthcare system in this country, because thank God that we can afford that bill. But what if you couldn't afford that bill? We just looked at the numbers, and insurance covers about 75% of the total hospital bill for the baby. But Louis, how much do we pay every month in insurance?
Hey, we pay about $960. That includes some amount for like a HSA. Yeah, so it's $960 a month.
Yeah.
Smart, right?
So $960 a month, it's about 11,000 something dollars per year, 12,000 a year.
Yeah.
And that's regardless of medical bills. So if I didn't get pregnant and didn't have the baby, we would still be paying $12,000 a year, regardless. So this country's healthcare system is all jacked up, and the moral of the story is they need to find a better solution for it. Cause I mean, what would we do if we didn't have the money to pay for this? Like, what do?
You just owe it.
Crazy. Someone please fix it. But what do you think of that bill? How much does it cost to have a baby in your country? I'm very intrigued. Please comment below. We're in week 3 and Isabella is the sweetest baby. She doesn't cry unless she's hungry or tired or needs a diaper change, which is exactly when you want a baby to cry. And she's just been so sweet. We've been reading books to her. The twirls that you were doing before.
Oh. Who's the camera? What is that? Say hi to the people.
Kind of trying to interact with her as much as possible, because we know like the first couple years of life are so important, and a baby's like a sponge. So Louis has been speaking to her in Spanish.
Construyó una casita a su alrededor. Un capullo. Wow, mira.
I speak to her in English, and so our goal is to kind of have her be bilingual and kind of experience as much as possible, as safely as possible. So we're having a little family meal right now. Louis serving the salad, and we have a special guest. It is a little burrito.
Oh my God! Mom helped us make a nice feta salad here. We got some pickled red onions, and we got some sausages in the oven right now, and later on we're gonna have a charcuterie board.
And a burrito.
Oh, cute.
We've been very, very careful with who can see the baby until she gets her vaccinations, which will happen in April. And then once that happens, we're gonna have much more freedom to go out, especially because the vaccines are rolling out and more people are getting vaccinated. So we can't wait to start bringing her out. We're already like so prepared for that. So many of you guys sent adorable baby clothes and blanket. Thank you so much. That is so sweet, and she loves everything, so thank you. So today we're on our first photo shoot. We're going to meet Tina, who did my paternity photos, and Isabella is looking really chill, and I'm really hoping that during the photo shoot she can be alert, because that's the thing, you can't really plan that with babies. But we have some cute outfits for her, and this photo shoot, my idea was I wanted to do like very like high-end Vogue feeling, high fashion. So we're going to one of my friend's apartments that has an amazing view of the city. And look at this view. This is my friend's apartment. Yes, glorious. And we're going to just be taking some shots there, and I'm hoping that it's gonna come out nice, and I know that Tina's really good, so I think it will. But yeah, we'll see you there. So for this photo shoot, I hired Tina again. There she is. You've shot for Vogue, you've shot for a lot of big brands.
Yeah.
So pro, definitely hire her if you want some expert photo skills right here.
Thank you, Sarah, for inviting me.
Always. You always make it look amazing. So these photos are gonna be great. I'm wearing like this ridiculous gown because I wanted it to be a certain style. I wanted it to be like very high fashion. So one of the dresses that Isabella is gonna be wearing is really special to my family. It's 130 years old. It was made in 1891, and it's like been passed down for many, many generations. It's originally a christening gown, but we're gonna be using it as more of the high fashion, we're going out to a fancy event look. Of course, having a baby has its moments where you're just exhausted. The first week was so tiring. I think I slept a total of like 10 hours in a week, just because as new parents, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm like really scared that I'm gonna do something wrong all the time. So it's really been a journey learning how to do that. There's been some accidents occasionally. Oh my God. Is it all over everything? Oh.
Sácala de una vez.
Isabella, you look like such an angel, but diaper explosions, but you know what? That's part of having a baby. So, oh, and now she's crying, so I have to go. That's what my life's been like so far. Thanks for listening. We'll get right back to that New York City content next week. But until then, stay safe, and I'll see you later. Bye.